Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today we're thrilled to have Sahil back in studio, Senior Advisor with Decisive Zone. Today we're discussing new visa types, the latest updates on visas you need to be aware of. We're going to drop some great information on the show. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming back.
I'm happy to be back. How you guys been? Everything okay?
Yeah, we're good. Mr. Slice is on his sick though. Is he okay?
Yeah. His golden golden visa is losing a bit of shine, but he'll be back next week and he'll be charged as usual. Yeah.
Hopefully okay.
Well, thank you so much again for being here. And my first question is actually, all these new visas are coming out, of course. And what is the job exploration entry visa?
So again, tying into what we've been speaking for the last couple of weeks. So the job exploration visa is something that the government's launched as a new initiative in terms of trying to draw in the best talent and then give them time to stay in the country, obviously legally, right? And then during that time for them to, to find the sort of suitable job for them. Because the government's really looking at, drawing in the right talent, and this is one way that they've made sure that the right talent gets in.
Why am I just hearing about this now? Like, when was it announced, and are people aware of it?
It's relatively new. I think it's been a couple of days now. It's okay, like just since it's been official. Like, so it was in works and it was in talks for a little while, and it's been thrown around a little bit, but it's been made official in the last 2 days, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what are some of the benefits of skilled professionals who are recent graduates as well?
For that visa?
I mean, there's obviously there's a lot of people who are flying into the country who are just coming here to study, right?
Yeah.
So let's say they're 21, 22 years old, fresh out of university, bachelor's degree, etc. And sort of tying into what you guys were talking about, how important a degree is, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So so they fresh out of university, and they're looking to sort of start a life in Dubai. And being that they're 21, they won't be able to have anyone sponsor them past their university education. So once they show that, okay, I just got a degree out of a certain university, they can sort of use that paperwork to extend their stay in the country and look for a job while they're here still.
And do we have, I know it's very new, but do we have details on price or how long the visa is valid for?
Price and validity depends on what kind of tier they're applying for. So it's a spectrum. So for me to throw a number out there wouldn't be fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Does that include as well for let's say if a student studied outside of the UAE and wants to come to the UAE and get a visa to explore, I would say, jobs?
Yeah, I mean that's where it would tie into the skilled sort of professional segment of the visa type. Mm-hmm. So if they can show that they're coming from a certain university, or they've been here before and they've flown out to study and then come back, so that would sort of allow them to get the visa as well and continue there, hopefully get a job here.
It's so interesting speaking about all the new types of visas, and another one that we're just learning of is the entry visa for study and training.
Yeah.
How could that help young graduates?
So again, it's a case of mastering a skill, right? So let's say again, you come out of university, you want to do an internship, for example. Right, someone coming out of media wants to join Lovin Dubai, and if they want to get an internship, so that sort of allows them to go down that route of being again legally sponsored, but then also be able to gather experience in the country, because later on that would translate hopefully into them getting a better job. And if they are tried and tested in the country, it adds benefit to their CV as well. So that's where that all ties in.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, tell us about the business entry visa. What is it?
Oh, I don't know how much time we have, but yeah. So a business entry visa, you're looking to come into the country, explore your options in terms of setting up a business, right? So you do get, people would traditionally, what they would do was come in as a tourist or come in on a visit visa for about 60 days, 90 days, etc. Come here, explore the market and see if there's an opportunity that they can go ahead with. But now it's a case of, because that was sort of frowned upon the whole time. Now it's a case of if you would like to do that, the government's given you an option that instead of doing it this way, do it the right way, right? Come into the country the right way, come with the right paperwork, and then, you're free to do whatever you want to do as long as, you dot your I's and cross your T's. So, yeah.
What advice would you give to people who want to take advantage of this visa?
Wait for the pricing. Wait for the timelines, wait for the details. Don't jump into it really quick. Just because it's officially launched, don't just hop on the train. Essentially, just wait, see more details that come out, see how you fit into which sort of segment. Otherwise, get in touch with us. We'll help you out. But that's, I think, the most important part, because people would see it as an opportunity, but then during, let's say, application or during the initial stages or approvals, etc., whatever phase it may be going through, they may not sort of fit the bill. And that's where, it is important to just take a step back, figure out, okay, this is what I want to do, this is how I'm about to go about it, and, then execute. So I think that's the most important point.
Well, tell us about the multiple family group visas. How do they work?
When we're talking about multiple family groups, it is a case where, you have, extended families that are in the region, right? So people who've been here second, third generation, and let's say the first generation has their visa set up, but then after an age group, like let's say for males over 21, you can't go ahead and be sponsored by your parents anymore, unless you're a student or, for that sort of case. So that would sort of draw into that and, show that, okay, there's multiple family options and this is, a family member, etc. And they, their first generation's been here, second generation extended, and then goes from there.
And have there been many changes to the family group visa recently?
Not that have been officially put out there, but there are, conversations and talks going about, because obviously it depends on the range and what kind of reaction they see from that sort of news. And then it's obviously a case of fine-tuning and tweaking, what kind of access you do have to visas and residency statuses. So I think that's the situation right now.
Well, can you tell us about the extension period dates and as well the exemptions for people of determination?
Okay, so in terms of extension, if you do have one of these visas, or traditionally, if you do have a visit visa already, for you to extend it, it is possible. You can go, it's a fairly straightforward process. As long as, your books are clean and everything's fine, you can extend your visa and it's not a problem. When we bring into people of determination, and it also ties into people, ties into the extension process where traditionally you may not be able to extend it, for whatever case that the immigration declares. But if you are sort of, in a situation where you're bedridden, and God forbid that happens to anyone, but if you are in that sort of a position, you can use that to get an extension on your visa. So that sort of ties into people of determination. Maybe, it's a bit difficult for them to, go up, access visa services, etc. So the government has thought of that and put a sort of fail-safe in place. That, even though they're going to be legal residents, but they have a bit more flexibility in terms of how to acquire that residence. So that's where that all ties in.
There's so much information here to
discuss. I need to take a deep breath.
I think so.
I just came out the gate.
It's just nonstop. But every single person watching has a specific visa question, and I think we're all kind of unaware of the new things always happening. How do you guys at Decisive Zone stay on top of it?
So we do have our PROs that are directly, operating in the field on a daily basis, right? So it's a case that because it's something that we're, accustomed to at this point and seeing happen on a daily basis. And obviously we have our team on the ground as well. So any news that they get, we get it as well, being, seniors or management, etc. And then we sort of find the right avenues to put it out there. You know what I mean? Because it's a case of information, and obviously if you go onto Google, you'll find an answer for everything. If you search for, do I need a visa? It'll say yes and no. You know what I mean? So there's 50 people saying 50 different things. Believe in what the immigration says, right? Don't let anyone, pull you in or draw you into a wrong kind of a solution, because it's not a solution. Trust me.
We speak a lot about scams on this show.
Yeah.
Have people come to you having already been on the recipient of scams? Do you see scams a lot in the visa application process?
With the local visas, not really, because it's pretty airtight. You know what I mean? Like in terms of the sort of information and the processes that are already out there, no one's going to mess around with those things, because it's not worth it. You know what I mean? Even scammers understand that if they are caught, and they will be eventually, it's not going to be worth it for them. You know what I mean? So that's something that they don't play about. But we do see, bits and pieces here and there where, someone's put in X amount of money, and then we have to come up and sort of do damage control and then fix it, and then, get their visa actually sorted. And that's where sort of our track record proves for itself.
Well, do you think that someone's asking if his wife, she's a doctor, can apply for a golden visa?
Yeah, if we can go over her paperwork, we can get the initial approval done, and because it depends on what kind of degree she has, where it's been attested, how long she's been a doctor, that sort of thing, and experience counts for that sort of a field. So yeah, she can definitely get it.
With all the latest announcements based on visas, could you, for example, compare the model that we have in UAE with another country? The way that the emerging visa, the job exploration visa, the entry visa for study, is that comparable with another country in terms of how they do their visas? Or is it because we're so unique in our large expat population that we need to create a different type of visa system?
We're definitely unique. No, nothing like Dubai, you know what I mean? But you could loosely compare to, let's say, in the States, right? You have a H1 tourist visa, then you have I think a job search visa and a study visa there as well. So it is similar to that, but it's just a case of the timelines from what we've seen already, right? To get that visa done in the States takes a while, right? But we don't know how far it would take here, but if the past is something to stand by, it wouldn't take that long. Just make sure your paperwork's in check, get in touch with us, we'll take care of it. Before you leave us,
what would be your average processing time for a visa? Do you have the information on that?
Obviously, in an ideal scenario, we're looking at somewhere about a week. Like, we've been able to pull up golden visas, for example. We can pull it up in about 3 days. Like the Emirates ID has been issued, done. Thank you very much. And yeah.
Can someone who, let's say, came to the country with like a student visa or like I don't know, looking for a job visa, switch to get a golden visa? Try and get a golden visa?
I don't think that would work well, because obviously it's a case of if they're going down the cultural route of, let's say, being a talent, or like we spoke about, previously, being a talent or having a specific set of skills. I don't want to sound like Liam Neeson, but yeah, if they are going to apply for something of that nature, it's just the case that if they apply and the initial approval does not go through, then they can't apply for it for 6 months.
Okay.
So I wouldn't, push it down that route or risk it. I would rather make sure you take it step by step and then build your sort of profile with the immigration, with the country, and then you're free to do whatever you want.
How interesting on that 6 months. Before you leave us, do you have one final piece of advice for the audience if they're looking for a visa in any shape, price or size? What would you tell them?
Like I said, just make sure your paperwork's in check. Make sure you speak to the right person. Don't just believe anything you read on the internet. Just do your due diligence, but then obviously take that information, go to a professional and have a consultation, speak to them that I read about this, is it true, is it false? And it's a case that if you do speak to a professional, they're obviously liable to get it done for you, right? So if that's the case, if you're looking for the right type of visa, obviously get in touch with us. But speak to a professional. Don't just try to believe what's on the internet, because it's a mess. It'll be a mess.
Absolutely. And I think in many cases it's easier to go with the professionals than trying to do it yourself, because what I understand is the paperwork is a little bit confusing in some cases. So Sahil from Decisive Zone, thank you so much for coming back. It's every Tuesday. We appreciate the experts coming in and giving us the lowdown on all things visa updates. Guys, that brings us to the end of our show. Thank you, Farah.
Thank you, Casey.
We'll be back with you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Bye-bye.